Dream Stans. They're the internet gremlins that everyone loves to hate, and in their 3 years of existence, they've done some pretty crazy stuff. So today, we're going to be going over the Dream Stan Iceberg to find secrets, uncover myths, and take a look at the weird world of Dream Stans. Now, for those of you who don't know what an iceberg is, let me explain. Stuff at the top is kinda normal and decently known, and as you get lower, it gets weirder and more obscure. And so, with everything out of the way, let's get into it. Dream SMP music. This refers to the 2021 Spotify Wrapped. That 1 produced the worst graphic design the world has ever seen, and 2 confronted Dream Stans with a horrible sight. Dream SMP music. Which instantly sent terror and anger throughout the community because Dream Stans knew they couldn't post their Spotify Wrapped on social media because if they did, their social life would be destroyed. Though it didn't stop there, because since Dream SMP music isn't a real genre and more a collection of songs, if you happen to listen to the same songs as a Dream Stan, you too could be cursed with Dream SMP music, a fate worse than death. Core memories. This is a reference to 2 moments that I would consider core memories for Dream Stans. The first is the speedrunning drama, which really needs no explanation. It was a drama that was so poorly handled that it effectively tanked Dream and his Stans' reputation and would also kickstart the long battle of Dream and his Stans versus the internet. And the second is the Dream SMP, the internet phenomenon that created a whole new wave of Minecraft content and basically birthed this community. But it's also a double-edged sword. See, while the SMP was and is immensely popular and grew the community to new heights, it also resulted in that same community getting fractured, split, and filled with conflict over time, meaning that post-SMP, the Dream fandom was never going to be the same, for better or for worse. Thus making the speedrunning drama and the Dream SMP the most pivotal moments in Dream Stan history. Dream Stan hearing loss. Now, Dream Stans are strange, and one of the weird quirks that they have is that they all seem to be suffering from hearing loss. Now, this is because they all think that everyone sounds like someone from the Dream SMP. This was something that was popularized by Rambo, and while there are times where people do sound similar, most of the time they do not, and it ends up sounding like this.
Hey, what up? My name's Cletus, and we're gonna be playing some Minecraft. You know how it goes, we be in the game.
Oh my god, is that GeorgeNotFound?
Dream chair. This is referring to an obscure set of unsafe fan art in which Dream is almost Frankensteined into the shape of a chair with ketchup all over his body. Which is really weird and is part of the reason why people even found out about it, because if this was just normal unsafe fan art, then people literally wouldn't care. But since it's weird, it piques people's morbid curiosity. Now, because Dream Chair was so weird, people quickly jumped on it, first with tweets and then with commentary channels talking about it, which quickly put Dream Chair in the internet's consciousness. For context though, this happened right after the speedrunning drama when Dream Stan hate was at its height, so this just gave more fuel to the fire and was part of the long list of reasons why Dream Stans suck. Hashtag wrecked. Though, these days, Dream Chair is irrelevant, plus ratio, and is now just used as bait for pictures of green chairs with smiley faces on them. Now, that doesn't mean that Dream Chair is gone, but you'd have to dig a little bit to find it, but if you were to do that, you're weird. The Great Text Wall. If you haven't noticed by now, Dream Stans have invaded Twitch, and a big part of Twitch is the chat. Simply put, when a stream has a nice chat, it creates a real feeling of community unlike your average YouTube comment section. So what's the chat like in a Minecraft stream? Purgatory. If you want to see a Dream Stan's thoughts in real time, go here, because people are quite literally typing whatever pops in their mind, everyone has the attention span of a squirrel, and typos are everywhere. This coupled with 20 or 40,000 viewers, and 2 dudes moderating all of them creates what's essentially barf in word form. Now, there are some streamers that have some pretty nice chats, but wholesale Minecraft chats are still kinda... Green and blue heart emoji. This is a symbol that represents the fanfiction relationship DreamNotFound. That is also the current culprit of the mental health crisis. May God help us all. Neg. This is short for negative and is a way for Dream Stans on Twitter to have a discussion about drama relating to a content creator in a critical or negative fashion. In theory, I say that because it never goes that way. Neg, quite frankly, is a slam dunk competition. Basically, if a content creator gets into some drama or says a mildly infuriating comment, Twitter will then slap Neg to your name and chaos will ensue. And when it comes to Twitter, Dream Stans don't mess around because they are gonna come out of the woodworks and will begin to write the most heinous messages that you've ever seen. That will take your words out of context, bring up old drama, pitch your friends against you, and most importantly, make stuff up. And all of it is kind of impressive, though with how regularly this happens, it's quickly become one of the worst habits that Dream Stans have, because it's basically a bunch of teenagers having a hissy fit about Minecraft men that gets trending on Twitter for the whole world to see. Subscribe. Oh my god, what is this doing here? Well, while we're at it, subscribe. It's free, it only takes a second, and it makes you cooler. Wattpad. This is a website for beginner writers to tell stories, but mostly for fanfiction. Now, there is a variety of fanfiction, but what's more well known is the romantic fanfiction. These can vary in quality from being decent to being quite possibly the worst piece of literature you've ever read in your entire life. Fanfiction in general, though, is kind of weird, but as long as everyone is being respectful and following creators' boundaries, it should be fine. Wattpad, though, is goofy and is where literature goes to die. Gatekeeping. Now, with the extreme dedication Dream Stans have towards their creators, it also comes with them being extremely gatekeepy and protective. This was infamously noticed when Schlatt and Quackity first joined the Dream SMP and almost instantly faced drama. Though, since then, this attitude has cooled down with Quackity and Schlatt, but overall, the gatekeeping still continues. This can be seen with creators like Hannah X Rose, who has faced drama for simply playing with Dream and also for saying that she doesn't like Neg, which ironically led to her getting trending with Neg, something that would have never happened to our Lord and Savior, Gagi. The gatekeeping has gotten so bad that a creator could literally be friends with someone like Aaron with Tommy in it, and some stans will still try to gatekeep and cancel them because they do a little too much trolling on Twitter. Basically, it's become a ritual that every new member of the community must face some drama, though the severity of the drama can differ wildly. Heatwaves. This refers to what is definitely the most popular fanfiction in the Dream fandom. It's a fanfiction that to many stans is considered a modern classic. And it's probably the only book that Dream stans have ever willingly read. But it's also a fanfiction that grew so popular that it transcended fanfiction and led to Dream stans claiming the actual song, Heatwaves by Glass Animals, as their own. Which is literally a match made in heaven. Because that song is mid. Aunties. This is a term that Dream Stans use for people who are anti-Dream and anti-Dream Stan that traditionally applies to people outside the Minecraft community. Now, this may sound like just a hater, but being an anti is more than just a hater. It's a lifestyle, and a lifestyle that includes many things, like dunking on children, making over dramatic TikToks, and making very interesting comments. I know why Dream wore mask, cause he had a D's, I think, but I think about him he's in guy snob some crack, and a fat guy, also Redditor, and Discord mad? Boys, I think we know what to do today. But first, get the minigun. How do people type this? I think you get my point. Antis are cringe, but since dumpstering on stans is cooler than being a stan, antis are not as hated on by the internet. But in my opinion, I think being obsessed with something that you hate is way more cringe than being obsessed with something that you actually like. Lizard Dream. This refers to fan arts in which Dream is a lizard. That's literally it. Though, for some reason, this fan art caused drama. See, some stans argue that this type of fan art dehumanizes Dream, which doesn't really make any sense because if anything, this fan art is more scan accurate and it's also pretty harmless. This then led to the 5 billion IQ response that we should draw Dream pregnant. Because that is a logical conclusion. Now, besides how crazy pregnant Dream is, I'm gonna be honest, if you don't like Lizard Dream, that's kind of lizard discrimination, and I won't have that because I gotta stand up for my boy, the Geico Lizard. Millionaire stans. I think a conversation about Dream stans isn't really complete without mentioning how stacked on cash they are, because my god, these guys are loaded. Now, this money has gone towards a variety of places, like the 1 billionth Dream merch drop, but a lot of it has gone towards charity, thanks to many creators mobilizing their stans to raise in total millions of dollars for charity. However, it's not just content creators, because even some stans have started their own mini charity efforts that have raised a fair bit of cash, which is pretty cool, because if you're gonna be a gremlin on the internet, you might as well do a little good while you're at it. Dream sexual, you know what this is. I mean, it's practically in the cringe hall of fame. It's infamous, though despite this, the legitimacy of Dream sexual is questionable, to say the least. See, when looking at Dream sexual, there are a couple of things that are kinda weird. Firstly, every Dream sexual account is kind of like an advertisement for it, which, considering Dream sexual's poor reputation, doesn't really make any sense because you're basically asking to get bullied. Secondly, Dream sexual stans are some of the most offensive and derogatory people on the planet, and often go against the values of Dream stans. And thirdly, Dream sexual stans have little to no connection to actual Dream stans and are actually disliked by them, which is kind of the nail in the coffin and all points in one direction. Dream sexual is a troll. Which is kinda obvious and explains a lot, like the fact that Dream sexual stans don't exist at all in the Dream fandom, because Dream sexual stans aren't Dream stans, they're a bunch of edgy teenagers. But Dream sexual being a troll also explains itself, that being a bunch of Dream stans qualities cranked up to the max that's disguised as a sexuality. That, combined with the general insanity of Dream stans, creates a recipe that's able to fool basically everyone, allowing Dream sexual to grow into what's basically an internet urban legend. Ageisma. Now at this point of the video, you've probably guessed one thing. Dream stans are mostly children, and what's interesting about children is that in their infinite wisdom, they can come up with some pretty strange ideas. And one of the strangest ideas that some stans have is that older fans in the community should not exist, which is not very cash money and is quite literally ageism. Now, this stance against old people was highlighted when Vedra, a person somewhat famous in the community, played crowd game with Dream and then was attacked on Twitter for being too old. She is 27. Now, it doesn't take a genius to point out that this is pretty dumb and likely sparked out of some jealousy, because looking at this logically, there are literally content creators that are pretty old themselves, and so are these stans gonna cancel GeorgeNotFound? No. That would be a death sentence. Also, if we're being honest, the older fans are probably the only people holding this duct tape and boogers community somewhat together. But even the idea of excluding people based on age is weird, because a good community should be supportive and welcoming to everyone. Especially the older people. I mean, have you seen a Philza stream? Stan Aunties. To many people, it seems that Dream stans are always trying to cancel their own creators, and while there is some truth to this, there's a special breed of stan that answers this feeling. Stan Aunties. These special gremlins are a weird bridge between stans and aunties. See, like stans, they stan certain creators, and like aunties, they hate some creators. But unlike aunties, which exist outside the Minecraft community, stan aunties come from within. Which is a world of difference, because unlike regular aunties who kinda just trash talk and eventually leave to jump on the next hate train, stan aunties don't leave, leading to their hate growing over time, and thanks to their stan knowledge, they know exactly how to cause drama and tear the community apart, which should paint enough of a picture to tell you that stan aunties are pretty bad for the community. Though, that doesn't mean that the terribleness of stan aunties stops there. See, since stan aunties are technically members of the community, they too can drive the metaphorical Dream community car and take it for a spin off a cliff, destroying the reputation of the community in the eyes of the internet. And so, until Dream stans can figure out their little civil war, they can kiss the idea of being seen as somewhat normal goodbye. The Manatreed Incident. This is a story that shows Dream stans at their absolute worst. Our story begins on November 27th, 2021 when it was announced that Manatreed would be the new member of the Dream SMP on Twitter. This surprised many stans considering that Manatreed had no prior internet presence. He was basically a nobody, though in response Dream stated that Manatreed was a real life friend that he and Sapnap have known. This fact alongside the general mystique of Manatreed created a lot of anticipation amongst stans, and besides a few road bumps, Manatreed's first stream on the Dream SMP eventually arrived on January 29th, 2022. And the stream went great because with a peak viewership of 215,000, it looked like Manatreed had found a community that was accepting of him, and all signs were pointing positive. But when Manatreed shut off that stream, everything was about to go south. See, when it was announced that Manatreed would be the new member of the Dream SMP, some stans and stan aunties quickly got to work to find some dirt on him so that they could dox him. And what they found is that allegedly Manatreed was a domestic abuser. However, the information they found was flimsy and certainly not enough to confirm that he was an abuser. Despite that, the dox information was still locked and loaded, and so when the stream arrived, the dox info started spreading and the community ate it up. Now, there is a little bit of context for this. See, unfortunately, in the last batch of creators added to the Dream SMP, one of them, Jishki, was found and confirmed to have groomed minors, which is flat out disgusting and terrible, and my heart goes out to all the victims. Though, in the context of Manatreed, this likely put the community on red alert. So when they found out about his allegations, they certainly were going to run wild with it. And run wild they did, because when Manatreed logged onto Twitter to thank everyone for the stream, he unknowingly walked into the fight of his life. There were the abuse allegations which he had to address. There were intrusive stans asking for his government's ID. There were insults thrown at all sides, and it was basically chaos with reason thrown out the window. But worst of all, there was a real victim of abuse that was dragged into this dumpster fire, which is horrible, beyond tone deaf, and under no circumstances should have ever happened. Essentially, the mob mentality in the fandom was at its worst. And so, 2 days after Manatreed's first stream, he indefinitely quit content creation because of the anxiety this had caused him. We will likely never know the truth behind this situation, but what we do know is that the small but ugly side of this community marked someone as guilty until proven innocent and played judge, jury, and executioner. Queerbaiting Drama. This refers to one of the more convoluted dramas between Dream and his stans that revolves around the idea that Dream baits his fans into thinking he is queer, through flirtatious comments or jokes in order to gain more money or clout by appealing to his LGBTQ audience and shippers. Now, I'ma be real, this drama doesn't really make any sense, because 1, flirty jokes don't equal gay, 2, guy friends just be zesty with each other, and 3, Dream is a real person, not a character. There isn't a team of writers that are like, okay Dream, you're gonna say, George, you look really hot and steamy when he goes next to the lava. This will get DNF trending on Twitter, boosting our publicity and making millions. Also, for the cherry on top, this drama has been addressed by Dream numerous times, but considering that this topic requires a bit of nuance to be navigated properly, this drama will likely never end because nuance is neither Twitter's nor this community's strong suit. Penis SMP. This is a meme that comes from Minecraft YouTube Tumblr that's based off Dream Stan's tendency to reply to a random post with a Dream SMP reference, which apparently got so bad that it one day led to the infamous post MCYT fans will see an unrelated post and be like,
oh my goodness, this reminds me of how shitty Fart Baby 69 and penis is unavailable were during the Minecraft electric chair execution scene. Bleeding face.
Now, instead of this post being disliked as intended, it was instead absolutely loved and embraced, which led to lore and fan art developing around it, creating the Penis SMP. That, ironically, became more annoying than the actual Dream SMP. This is because the Penis SMP quickly took over Tumblr, even appearing on the front page, while also getting trending on Twitter, and for some reason getting an article on Polygon based on it. You know, some real quality journalism. Which, all in all, weirdly reveals the power of Dream stans that have way too much time on their hands. AO3. This is short for Archive of Our Own, which is another fanfiction website like Wattpad, but is the more hardcore version. because if Wattpad is the website for the 8th graders with its clean design, then AO3 is for the 9th graders that are incredibly down bad, because AO3 looks like it was made by the government. Now, what actually makes AO3 different is the quality, because while the writers on Wattpad are learning how to spell, the writers on AO3 are writing novels like Heat Waves. Though, what AO3 is really known for is how wild it gets, specifically with RPF, real person fanfiction. It's pretty controversial among stans because it uses real people for fanfiction, which is weird. Though this coupled with the fact that AO3 is basically like the old internet Wild West with little to no moderation means that people can ship whoever they want, including the coal miners, doing whatever they want. Which is a disastrous combination and has resulted in AO3 being the centerpiece of a lot of stan debates that weirdly reflect the cultural influence that AO3 and fanfiction have in the community, because whether you like it or not, for Dream Stans, AO3 is here to stay. I did do my taxes on there, so you know, that's pretty cool. Twitter updates bot accounts. These are accounts on Twitter that update other stans about things that a content creator is doing. The accounts can range from updating other stans when a new video gets uploaded to even updating when Dream listens to a song on Spotify. Now, while these accounts look like bots, they are actually run by a person or group of people because a lot of this stuff is just too niche to be automated. Which is pretty much everything, and so as long as these update accounts maintain a degree of professionalism and act like bots, everything will be fine and nothing will go wrong.
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
Subtwitters. These are subgroups within the community that are dedicated to a creator or creator group on Twitter that are used to find people who have similar interests. Now, this is a pretty good idea, and for a handful of subtwitters, it works really well. But with Dream Stans, good ideas always come with a twist. To put it simply, subtwitters are the fast pass to creating echo chambers. They basically foster stans who only get their information from the subtwitter and block everyone else that doesn't agree with the subtwitter. This creates a weirdly tribal Twitter environment where subtwitters will develop their own culture and reputation, and despite basically enjoying the same thing, they will also start drama between each other. Basically, they act like monkeys. Now, this all leads to subtwitters being one of many reasons why there is so much infighting between stans, because for the life of them, Dream stans will not behave. KPop Connection. If there's one community that has a strong connection to Dream stans, it's K-pop. This is pretty obvious considering that they both have very similar Twitter cultures, and you just see Minecraft stans with K-pop profile pictures. Now, this connection has led to Dream stans inheriting a lot of the quirky qualities that K-pop stans have, and has also unsurprisingly led to a lot of drama / conflict. There was that one time when Tubboy tried to ratio a BTS member, which didn't go so well. Then there's also the legendary K-pop fan cam Minecraft cancellations, which sounds as ADHD as it is, and there's likely even more disastrous things. Now, all of this has led to many Dream stans realizing that K-pop stans and PFPs within the community can be some of the most insufferable people on the planet, which is quite ironic and true. Because let's be honest, K-pop stans are simply built different. Twitter bot account drama. Now, when talking about these update accounts, they ideally should behave just like bots and never deviate. But for some reason, every update account decided to go crazy on May 17th, 2021. The day started off when a Technoblade update account, out of the blue, decided to quote retweet Dream and call him a dumb bitch. Which honestly is a legendary tweet up there with VeggieTales. Now, this did cause a bit of drama for Techno Twitter, requiring them to play damage control, which led to the update account apologizing, which is kind of funny because you literally had one job and failed, and also got dunked on by every other update account. Though, while this drama was happening in America, across the pond, a Lovejoy update account was getting mad at this situation. And so, they made the decision to publicly announce their hate for Technoblade and claim that he is bigoted. You know, normal things that an update account says. Now, for some background info, these claims are based off some old tweets. that, if I'm being honest, are mild at most in their edginess, which is a point of view that most of the community shared, resulting in this account getting a lot of backlash because these comments are firstly unprofessional and second unproductive and weird. Now, this should have been a sign to the other update accounts to not do the same, but May 17th must have been cursed, because an SBI, Sleepy Boys Incorporated update account was about to jump into the fray. See, this account actually had their own drama because they were supposedly hiding updates related to Technoblade, and so they decided to seize the moment and clear up their own drama.
Hey guys, Ed SBI admin here. I just want to say on behalf of the SBI team that we hate Technoblade.
Now, I don't know about you, but this is the most pathetic statement ever, because my brother in Christ, you decided to update for him, and now you're gonna act like Techno turned evil when you're digging up old tweets like the Lovejoy account? Ain't no way. And like clockwork, this resulted in backlash, though this finally marked an end to the update account madness of May 17th. However, there is one more update account that I'd like to talk about. The update account in question was a Callahan update account that decided to literally stop updating people and instead started sending death threats towards Techno Twitter, which is wild and apparently got so bad that Callahan, the human equivalent of bread, noticed. So he put his foot down and blocked the update account, showing the community that he does not tolerate this behavior. And then, in a stroke of genius, he unblocked the account and then apologized to them. Bro really crumbled under the pressure. Now, despite this tomfoolery, the Callahan update account was basically doomed because they were getting so much backlash that they eventually decided to deactivate. But not before quickly talking about how much they hate Carl Jacobs and then actually deactivating their accounts, which is kind of poetic and teaches us the valuable lesson that children can be trusted with nothing. Burner44Z, this refers to a Twitter account that made a legendary Twitter thread that did the impossible and united Dream Stans under one thing. Twitter is cringe, and so the only way to really view this thread is through song.
What a nice day. Surely Minecraft Twitter will be nice and nothing will go wrong.
Stop teabagging! What's happening? I'm done! I'm not playing anymore! I don't want to play anymore! And he's bullying me! Fucking bitch, dude!
Character equals creator. This refers to the confusion between the character that a content creator plays on the Dream SMP and the actual content creator. Now, this confusion occurs for a couple of reasons. One, maybe some stans aren't familiar with the concept of a story-based SMP, and so they just have some initial confusion. Two, maybe some stans have trouble differentiating between the stream funny moments and the serious lore that the Dream SMP usually juggles with. And three, they're probably like 10 years old and literally do not have enough brain power to tell the difference. All of this is the base confusion and is usually corrected and therefore stopped, but there are some stans that like to make things a little bit spicier. This spice comes in the form of stans who believe that the actions and thoughts of characters in the Dream SMP are reflective of the actual content creator, almost like a Freudian slip. This, coupled with the fact that the Dream SMP dabbles in mature topics like abuse, manipulation, and torture, has led to this belief of character equals creator being used in some of the most insane mental gymnastics that you've ever seen. Problematic things Tommy and it has done. Role-played sewer sliding and called it lore. This makes it sound like Tommy roleplays sewer sliding for fun and that the Dream SMP is like some government's cover-up. Why did Tommy and Dream roleplay abuse anyways? Like, why did everyone watch this and think, yeah, this is okay? And why did they roleplay Tommy burning down the LGBTQ flag as a straight man? Really, Dream? Okay, besides the first grade grammar, why did the comment even drag Dream in? Like he didn't even burn the flag. By that logic, thank you Dream for world hunger. I will be taking your Mr. Breast Burger as payment. Thank you very much. Now, looking at these comments, it's obvious that they're bad intentioned. I mean, the whole idea of character equals creator is literally digging at the bottom of the barrel to find some dirt on creators stans don't like. But let's be honest, if you're pulling out the Dream SMP lore as evidence against someone, man, you gotta get yourself another lawyer because you are going to jail. r/Dream was taken too. This is the sister Reddit to r/Dream was taken, which begs the question, why have two Reddits? Well, the answer is quite the story. See, back in December of 2020, when the speedrunning drama erupted, people flooded to r/Dream was taken to talk about it. And by talk about it, I mean get into arguments and trash can on each other, changing r/Dream was taken from a place for Dream Stans to talk and have fun into the UK.
Fucking ding mush, grab your birdie headlock and I'll shave a fucking ball.
Which eventually led to moderators flat out nuking discussions about the speedrunning drama, and in those ashes, r/Dream was taken too was created. Now, considering the events that led to the subreddit's creation, it basically became the new battleground of the speedrunning drama, filled with stans and people arguing. This can be seen by looking at the top post of all time on the subreddit. Bro really said a Redditor with 1 million karma like it's a good thing. However, as time passed, people eventually moved on from the drama, and so the subreddit was slowly reclaimed by Dream Stans, transforming a battleground into a decent place that's likely the more rational side of the community. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't see any trash takes, but hey, it's better than Twitter. Also, they write a lot on here.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
And as a side note, Dream appears to be fine with the subreddit as he comments and posts on it occasionally. Tyrone. This is a reference to a Dream video that featured a fake leak of the new Minecraft skin, Tyrone, alongside a very peculiar joke. Now, because the joke in the video was a little out there, a black Dream stan came to Dream voicing their concerns, which Dream understood, and so the video was deleted. Also, for the love of God, do not write "back when Dream was based." Dream SMP apologists. These are stans who defend the actions of characters in the Dream SMP, which is basically the same as your average anime fan who writes a novel arguing why Sasuke is the deepest, greatest, and most complex character of all time in random YouTube comment sections. Now, beyond a small argument, this apologist behavior in most communities doesn't cause many issues. But Dream SMP apologists are something else. See, the thing about the Dream SMP is that it combines a character in a story with a content creator who has legions of fans who swear by them. This can be a problem because there isn't one way to view the Dream SMP. It's a story filled with multiple interpretations, multiple POVs, and many characters. For example, Dream's character in the Dream SMP is kind of complex, and he also doesn't share his POV. This creates an interesting scenario where it's up to the viewer to build their own perspective of the character, and so depending on who they watch, they can have wildly different interpretations. So you can either think that Dream's character is Satan, Jesus III, or right in the middle, which should create really interesting discussions around the ambiguous nature of these characters. Unfortunately though, apologists literally don't care, because like their anime brethren, they too have taken a sacred oath to defend their character. Meaning that if they were to encounter somebody who hates their character, or God forbid an opposing apologist, they will then enter the goofiest arguments of their lifetime. Though, since these arguments hinge on characters and content creators that these people ride or die for, these arguments can go from 0 to 100, resulting in death threats, doxes, and probably even more crazy stuff. That, in some bizarre way, started from imaginary Minecraft roleplay, which is just a masterclass in absurdity and has taught me the valuable lesson that it doesn't matter that Dream Stans are fighting. What matters more is the dumb journey they go on to convince each other to fight. Imposter stans. These are people who pose as Dream Stans online. Basically somebody who Googles Dream Stan starter pack, copies everything, and then makes a Twitter account to start trolling and baiting. Now, while your plain old internet trolling doesn't cause any issues, what can cause some issues is how lucrative and crazy imposter stans can get. Though to understand that, we have to understand how imposter trolling really works. See, because of the horrible reputation that Dream Stans have, it creates a metaphorical fog of war where imposter stans and things like Dream Sexual can hide. Because unless you're a Dream Stan or know a lot about Dream Stans, these imposter stans in the eyes of the wider internet can look like your average insane Dream Stan. This allows imposter stans to effectively run wild and, in some ways, hijack the reputation of Dream Stans. And if there's one imposter stan who is in a league of their own and running wild, it's Sloppy Goggy. This is someone unlocking 100% of their brain power just to troll on Twitter. The concepts alone for some of these tweets are just insane and mind-boggling. Sloppy Goggy tweets are so absurd that they turn people's brains off into believing that they are real. And people definitely believe, because Sloppy Goggy has appeared in numerous cringe compilations, at least 100 commentary channel videos, and their tweets have become so infamous that they've probably been viewed by over 1 million people. And all of this comes from one imposter stan, and while they have been banned, you'd have to be 5 years old to think that it stops here. See, the thing about imposter stans is that it's all about being as crazy as possible to get those sweet internet points. This can be seen with Dream Sexual, which started off as a satirization of Dream Stans and eventually got so crazy that it became Discrimination the Sexuality. Though this desire for internet points can really be seen with imposter stans chasing every trend under the sun, like when they made fake Minecraft YouTuber NFTs, a troll so ingenious that people just believed it.
You really think someone would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies?
Now, while seeing these elaborate trolls is kind of impressive, you often don't see this because of anonymity. What? People 90% of the time are just going to write disgusting comments for their trolling, and it's probably going to stay that way. Imposter stans at the end of the day aren't going to destroy the Dream fandom, only Dream stans have that power. Though for now, imposter stans combined with the regular insanity of Dream stans definitely help to keep them stuck in the dark ages for a little bit longer. rbgc. This is short for Ran Black Group Chats, an all-black group on Twitter that was seen as one of the premier groups regarding black conversations within the Dream fandom. Now, there is absolutely nothing wrong with this at face value, and there were likely many well-intentioned members within the group. But as time passed, issues started arising. The first red flag appeared when some members of the rbgc had some very divisive and controversial opinions. And while everyone can obviously have their own opinion, however good or bad it may be, how you handle the backlash around your opinion, especially if you're in a group, is another story. And let's just say that the rbgc didn't exactly do a good job. It effectively boiled down to this: if you were not black, then your opinion didn't matter, L+ ratio. But if you were black but disagreed, your opinion didn't speak for all black people, and so your opinion still didn't matter, L+ ratio. Now, I don't think it takes a genius to figure this out, but this is a garbage way to handle this. Because many people did not like this attitude. One, because it doesn't create healthy discussions, and two, it's pretty hypocritical considering that the rbgc, even in its inception, kind of attempts to speak for all black people. And this response was obviously not liked by the rbgc, which led to more responses from them, which just created a ping pong of even more responses, creating the classic Twitter toxicity. And so, to handle this toxicity, the rbgc came up with a genius plan to stop it all. They started canceling other stans. This was elegantly done by claiming that the person was racist. And while the rbgc did find some actually racist people, they unfortunately only had a 3% accuracy rate, and so a majority of the stans getting cancelled were not racist, and the rbgc was basically twisting people's words and guilt-tripping them into leaving MCYT Twitter. Now, the way the rbgc accomplished these cancellings was through a group called the Ran Black Shooters, who would report and harass targeted accounts, and also throw in the occasional fail in MLG water buckets, if you know what I mean. This is somehow related to Minecraft Men, by the way. Now this purge, or whatever you want to call this, expectedly resulted in a lot of negative word of mouth spreading about the rbgc. But despite this, the rbgc didn't seem to care at all, because they would eventually move away from petty Twitter drama and move into the world of doxing. This first started when the rbgc started spreading dox information related to Schlatt, because of course it would be Schlatt. Thankfully though, the dox information was incorrect, because it was allegedly just some old man's address. Man, that is just horrible. Now, to be clear, the rbgc didn't dox Schlatt. They just spread around the information, which is just as bad as the dox, but thankfully the rbgc, being the great group they are, would never dox anyone. Yeah, they started doxing people. I mean, what did you expect? The doxing first started with some content creators, and while it mainly stayed that way, it eventually moved on to doxing other Dream Stans because why not? Now, it's unknown how many people were actually doxed, but what is known is that the mere idea of doxing sent ripples throughout the community. Because while this would be the rbgc's worst action, it would also attract so much attention that it would tip the scales out of their control. See, with everything that has happened, it's no surprise that the rbgc were not exactly beloved, because while claiming to be a group for at least positivity, the rbgc had instead created a trail of fire that dragged and prompted people to get involved with their mess. Essentially, the rbgc, despite their initial good intentions, had succumbed and fed into the toxicity of Twitter and echo chambers, which would eventually catch up to them, because on July 18th, 2021, the rbgc had officially disbanded, ending one of the strangest and most toxic sagas in Minecraft Twitter history. Also, by the way, I just want to give a big shout out to Reddit users Animal123. They're literally who I got this story from, so yeah, credit where credit is due. Poppy Twitter. This is one of the most infamous sub-Twitters in the Dream fandom, and for a couple of reasons. One, they make fan art that does not follow proper safety regulations at work, if you catch my drift. This in itself is already a very divisive topic within the community, but the second reason is the source of all the infamy, because the fan art that Poppy Twitter does make frequently features the minor characters of the Dream SMP engaging in said unsafe activities, which is flat out disgusting and 110% warrants this sub-Twitter getting nuked. But this is unfortunately only the surface. See, the confusing and complicated thing about Poppy Twitter is that, like most of the Minecraft community, Poppy Twitter is also mostly full of miners, working in the coal mine of course. Though this raises an important question: why are children drawing this? And sad to say, there really isn't a simple answer. However, we can make the correct assumption that the miners on Poppy Twitter aren't exactly in the best headspace. Though, if we truly want to examine the issues with Poppy Twitter, we have to move away from the individual. See, while the individual certainly contributes to how horrible Poppy Twitter is, I mean, they literally make the fan arts. What really makes Poppy Twitter truly despicable is the environment that basically glorifies the relationships between minors and adults, which is already disgusting on its own. But considering that Poppy Twitter is mostly full of minors, it has unfortunately become a breeding ground for pedo bears to come in and take advantage of these minors, creating problems much bigger than just unsafe fan art. There have been numerous people who've come forward detailing their experience of how they've been exploited by people on Poppy Twitter, which is saddening because nobody deserves for that to happen to them, and ideally, this would never happen. Thankfully though, the community has made a pretty good effort to spread the awareness of the dangers of Poppy Twitter, because that's probably the best that can be done. And personally, I hope that the minors on Poppy Twitter can sooner than later turn their life around. Clem Twitter. This is a sub-Twitter well known for believing, fantasizing, or hoping that Tommy Innit is a trans femme lesbian named Clementine. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what crack these guys are smoking to believe this or even want this. But while this is a little weird, as long as it doesn't cause any issues, it should be fine. Right? Nope, because unfortunately Clem Twitter sometimes creates unsafe fan art, which leads to them having ties with Poppy Twitter, which is like being friends with the devil who burns orphanages. And so due to this connection, Clem Twitter is obviously disliked for all the same reasons as Poppy Twitter. Essentially, Clem Twitter is the trash spin-off series of Poppy Twitter, where the new exciting storyline is that they're delusional. And so these days Clem Twitter is kind of just left alone to sit in their insane asylum that they made for themselves. Dark web stans. In every community there is always a dark underbelly, and Dream stans are definitely not the rule breaker. Now, it's no secret that content creators like Dream and others on the Dream SMP are private about their life or how they look. And while a majority of stans are respectful of this privacy, there are others who quite literally trample over it. This is most evident in the two sub-Twitters, Face Leak Twitter and Leak Twitter, which do what they say. Leak people's stuff. This in itself has already resulted in these two sub-Twitters becoming pretty infamous because they are on the main stage when it comes to leaking, even though they get a lot of stuff wrong. Though while these sub-Twitters are where the information is spread, it's not always where it's found because these leaks are typically found on the internet's favorite website, Kiwi Farms. Now, for those of you who don't know, Kiwi Farms is basically a website for professional haters. People who will try to know everything about you just because they don't like you. And Minecraft YouTubers are no exception. Dream typically gets a majority of the hate by Kiwi Farms, though by proxy other Minecraft YouTubers will also get targeted. This is due in part to Leak Twitter and Face Leak Twitter basically inviting more people to engage with Kiwi Farms, which expands their eyes to target more people, which has resulted in Kiwi Farms on the Minecraft side being a jumble of Aunties, Stan Aunties, and the occasional regular Dream Stan that's a little too curious. Now, what if Kiwi Farms and these two sub-Twitters actually leaked? Well, it's almost confirmed that Kiwi Farms was responsible for the legendary alleged face reveal of Dream that happened a while ago. Also, when it came to the mana treat situation, while Leak Twitter was the one supplying the info to the masses, Kiwi Farms was in the background doing the digging. Basically, if you've seen any leaked face reveal of any new Minecraft YouTuber, or even adjacent YouTubers, it probably comes from Kiwi Farms or Leak Twitter. It doesn't matter if you're 2 years old or 2,000 years old, because if you get on the bad side of Kiwi Farms and Leak Twitter, or the max prestige parasocial stan side of Face Leak Twitter, then you will have your face and info leaked. And unfortunately, nothing will stop this, because with an unlimited supply of weird people on the internet, this behavior will never cease. Chinese Dream fans. In the era of the global internet, content rarely stays within its own language / culture. This can be seen with VTubing, which recently blew up in the West thanks to fan subbing. But this can also be seen with Dream's content in China. Our tale begins on r/Dream was taken 2 when a Chinese Dream fan was trying to get Dream's attention to help with drama in the Chinese Minecraft community regarding fan subbing. See, on Bilibili, the Chinese version of YouTube, multiple users were uploading translated Dream videos. Now, some of these Chinese Dream fan accounts were racking up some very good views for subbed content, which led to some getting concerned about the copyright of the content. And so, being the nice fans they are, they wanted to ask Dream for permission and also wanted him to come onto Bilibili. So they went onto Dream's Patreon and paid for the highest tier so that they could get access to Dream's Discord, and then attempted to get in contact with him. Unfortunately though, Dream was busy, and so an admin of the Discord responded to their questions. Now, this conversation with the admin was actually quite lengthy, so I'll be simplifying the response. The admin basically said, no, you cannot translate Dream's videos because it's not fair use, and also Dream doesn't care about translating his videos to his Chinese fans. So delete all your videos. And then as a bonus, the admin also decided to say weird things about Chinese people and North Koreans. Epic. This then led to the Chinese fan attempting to reason with the admin before ultimately complying with their request and deleting all their videos, which led to the Chinese fan making an announcement relaying what the admin said to the rest of the Chinese Minecraft community. And this angered many of them, because to them it seemed like Dream was being greedy and didn't care about his Chinese fans. And if you think that Dream stans on Twitter can get wild, this was probably a war zone. Though, while some accounts followed the admin's instructions, not all of them did. The chats decided to continue until they got taken down, but others wanted to hear directly from Dream. This led to one of the Chinese fans trying to contact Dream through stream donations, but since Dream gets 1 million donos a second, this was kind of futile. Now this is where the story had stopped, but due to the Reddit post, Dream responded and cleared up the drama by saying that he is fine with fan re-uploads and he always has been fine with them, and that the admin does not represent his ideas. This reply made the original poster happy and also led to the original Chinese fan coming to the Reddit post to thank Dream for helping to clean up the mess, thus ending the Chinese Dream fan saga and bringing world peace. Okay, maybe not the second part. And that's it. Thank you for watching this video and getting this far. Also, from the bottom of my heart, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more from me, subscribe. And also, have a nice day. Bye bye.